crafters, so great to see you again. I've got some new products this time, and I've got a little stamping for you, some flower making, new products from Sizzix, and on the 14th I've sent out an email with the videos of all the brand new Stamperia products for the 2021 season. There's some exciting things in there, a little bit of romance, some of the steampunk is coming back, and even new products, new paper pads, new stamps. There's just a whole host of things for you to look at. So today, as I say, we're going to look at some flower making from Sizzix, some papers, Lavinia stamps, and I think you'll really like those. These are fun to do, and we'll just see what happens. So sit back and enjoy. Okay, we're going to start with just some paper that I use for marking pens that would be appropriate. And I made a small disc to use as a mask, and one of the new Lavinia stencils. Now I have 12 of those in stock. This one is the Ivy. So I just want to lay it down on top of the disc, and I use a host of inks. I use Distress inks, Memento. I try them all, so there's no right or wrong about this. For this particular one, though, I'm using the Distress ink and a brush, and just start filling in some areas. You can use whichever color you like. I like the little variety of the greens, maybe with a little bit of yellow. And just brush away. And you don't have to fill the entire stencil. We just want to create a soft background. And just keep brushing away till you get the blending that you like. I always like to check it while I'm working and see how it's coming. And maybe just add a little bit more. Use a darker green. And just brush away. The Lavinia stencils are really very nice. They're quite detailed, but they're sturdy enough, and they'll hold up well. And of course, you can just clean these with a baby wipe when you're done using it with the inks. Okay, so that looks good. Next, I'm going to try the Versacolor. I like these for stamping. For this, you'll need a stamping block. And I've selected one of the stamps, one of my favorites. It's Vines and Berries. So just ink it up well. Now on this particular making the wreath, it doesn't have to be a full impression every time. Sometimes it's nice to have it just fade off a little bit. So just stamp and just place it as you like. There's no jig involved and no any other equipment you have to buy. Just stamp away. And we'll be filling in with other leaves. Now if you want to, if there's anything you missed, just stamp a portion of it, and then you can just fill it in. You see, not everything is the same heaviness of the ink. Okay, next we're going to choose another little stamp. Now you're going to love these, because there is a whole group of stamps, and Lavinia calls them their pound stamps because they cost a pound. And here at Miniature Luxuries, they're $1.26. And these are really nice detailed stamps. And you can see, just use a different shade of green, whatever you have in your stash. You can even use these with markers. If you have the Tombow markers, sometimes I'll just ink them up with that. And then you get more of a watercolor effect. So that's nice too. Here's another pound stamp, and this is just a little branch. And you can see what interest that adds. And just work your way around the wreath. It's starting to look good. Now from the original vine, there's a little set of berries. These are perfect for little accents around. So you just stamp those in. And you can see it's not a full impression all the time. There's also a small one with holly leaves. This would be perfect for Christmas. You can make tons of Christmas wreaths with little red berries. And this is one of the other pound stamps. Okay, I'm going to choose another color green, another brand. Memento. So as you see, I tried them all, and you can have your own preference. You know, some just work better than others. Now this one, this little vine, is just perfect. Adds a little fluffiness to your wreath. And there you go. Now I think what we'll do is we'll add a little interest on the inside. Actually, you could use this to make a frame for a photo if you care to. Oh, and this is another little berry and stars. These are all pound stamps. And there's the holly. Some more berries. There's just an awful lot to choose from. Okay, we'll add a few little stars around the outside. They just kind of soften up the edges. Next, we're going to try for the rabbits. Now, Lavinia Stamps has hedgehogs and mice and cats and rabbits. And there's even wolves and owls. The animals are just fabulous. And these are all done as a silhouette, so they're done in the black. Now you want to ink this up really well, since it is a full coverage. And if you wanted to on the all black, you could use your platform if you'd like. There you go. Now I think he needs a little friend. And we'll just figure out where he goes. Ink him up real well. And just set him right in. Now you really don't want them floating in midair. So what I'm going to show you is you just tear a piece of paper, make it a rough edge, and then when you have that torn, you just lay it down just about where you want the ground to be. Take your brush and a little more green. And just smooth that in. And there you have it. And to finish up, I'm just going to add a few more little stars for them to be looking up at. And here's a few more samples of cards that I've done. For this one, I used a Prima stencil, but I used the Lavinia Stamps Sentiment. They have tons of beautiful, magical sentiments. Here's another card using the fairies. More fairies, and that background is a little glittery, so you can do a lot of things with that. And here's another one. And I love those who don't believe in magic will never find it. And here's just a few of the other stencils. As I say, there's 12 of them. Berries, I love this one. And orchids. Okay, and next here's a close-up of a few of the pound stamps that we've already looked at. The holly. And just another pretty little bunch of buds. These are nice too as a filler. Stars. Little flowers. And you can use these on so many other things. You could make a ton of tags with these. The branch. Next, we're going to look at a project I made using the orchids and cats from Stamperia. And I wanted to show you this. It was just a little book box that I made. And I decorated the inside with some of the orchids from the paper pad. But when I got to the outside, I wanted something a little bit larger, a little bit softer. And I didn't happen to have any orchids, so I used the Sizzix foam. And I made my own orchids to match the paper. And it was really easy to do. You can use regular dyes, you know, anything you have on hand for other different kind of flowers, but for the orchid, and you can see here where the orchid had some drawing on the leaves, and I'll show you the pink one. You can see that it just has like a little paisley kind of print on it. So I thought, well, I could make those. So I drew the pattern. And then after I had the pattern, I cut it out on my Scan and Cut. And the foam does beautifully on the Scan and Cut, and it does wonderfully in the die cutter. Now they come in different color packs. And the first one I'll show you, it's 12 by 24 inches each sheet. So there's a ton of foam in here. And you can see all the colors. We've got the blue, beautiful pale pink, a lavender, a plum, and a green. Okay, and these are the pieces that I cut. You can see I cut them out of different colors. I had some white and some yellow. But we're going to use the pink ones to show you how easy this is. Now these are the pieces that I cut from my pattern. So you can make them yourself. You know, as I say, use a die. Make them as big or as small as you want. So I use those two pieces, and then I cut two other pieces, smaller ones for the center. Now these are really easy to work with, easy to cut. That's one of the center pieces. I even cut some leaves. Okay, so once you have all your pieces together, this is the stencil that I used to put the pattern on. For this one I used a jelly roll. Now there are some products that don't work well on this foam. And as for gluing, you'll need a heat gun, or a glue gun, I'm sorry. and you just have to kind of test it to see what does work. But on this particular one, the jelly roll worked fine. So all I did was draw in between the stencil. I'll just do a few here to show you how it comes out. And you can see that I've got the pattern on the flower. Now, there is oil pastels. Now, you might even have some on hand, but this is the Sizzix pack. And then you can also color them in. Now, you can just color them straight from the crayon. I've tried it with a foam brush. And if you want to just add some little depth, little dimension to it. And then you can also blend it in with your finger. And you can see that it colored right over the jelly roll, so it didn't interrupt the pattern at all. Blend your colors so you get a little more realistic effect. And then for the center leaves, I colored those in a little bit darker, as you'll see on the finished flower. So just have fun with it. And so you can just rub in, blend the colors. Now, chalk does not work. Like I say, the oil pastels seem to work the best. Any oil base product. Okay, now for the forming. The silicone mat. Sizzix has its own little tool to hold it so you don't burn your fingers. And if you want, when you're curving the edges, just lay it down. And this is in real time. This is how quickly it forms. So you can make it as curvy as you like. Just flip it over, and you can see how quickly it shapes. And then just finish your other petals. Now these haven't been colored, but at least you get the idea. You can shape them with your fingers. You can pull them. And if you don't want to use the heat gun, you can use a foam mat and just a burnisher to shape them. I actually like the way the heat shapes it. And here's the center part. And look at how nicely that curves up. Okay. So you're ready for assembly. Now they also have these stamens. And what you can do is just use something to poke a hole in the center. You can use a needle. Just make sure all three parts you've got the hole through. And this is where your stamens are going to go. So between pushing the stamen through and using your glue gun, you'll be assembling your flower. Sorry, I'm fiddling off camera. But as you slide each layer on, put a little dab of glue in between. Okay. And there's your flower, and you can continue to shape it and form it any way that pleases you until you get it to look right. And when you're finished, just put it on your box or your book. And here are a few others that I made with the different colors. And these are quick and easy. And I used these a lot with the Winter Tales collection. I did put some glue and glitter on those. And also, I took a stylus and I formed the veins just by a little bit of pressure. And here's the collection. There's a lot of colors to choose from. And I think you could have fun with this. Next, we're going to look at the Sizzix Opulent Cardstock. I fell in love with this paper. First of all, because when you're looking to combine papers, how many times have you gone and you say, well, I bought one sheet of this and one sheet of that, and the colors don't quite match. These match. The first is the glitter cardstock, and it's smooth and it doesn't flake. The next is a soft touch. It's a very matte finish. Beautiful ivory. The next one is going to be the brushed pearl. And you can feel it has a little bit of texture in it. Next is the mirror finish. And you can see how glossy that is. And then the last is the pearl finish. This one has just a hint of sheen to it. And you can see how it's reflecting the light. They're nice, heavy stock. You can use them for anything in the world. And they come in colors. You saw the ivory. There's the gold. The rose gold is fabulous. The silver. And each one has that selection of colors and finishes. The last one is their Christmas, the holiday one. It's just full of reds and greens. There's some glitter in that one, so it's not the 5. Okay, next, I'm bringing in some more flowers. And when you see the new collections from Stamperia, and the one in particular called Passion, I am on the design team for that particular collection this year, and I'm really happy about it. And we're going to need some pinks and some flowers. So I've decided between Prima and 49 in Market that I'll have some offerings for you there. And just a nice variety. And you'll, as I say, with the new collection, you'll see why. Okay, we're moving quickly, but I brought in 2 new stencils from Prima. These are wonderful for backgrounds. The one is the manuscript, and the second one is Read My Letter, and it's nothing but script. These are nice and large. They're 6 by 9, and they'll be wonderful for backgrounds. I'd be remiss if I didn't show you something from Stamperia, but this is going to show you some of the products that I want to talk about today. On this particular one, we took an old frame, used the Glamour Gel, Glamour Pigment, and we're going to use some of the 𝐂𝐬𝐧𝐴. Now this mold was the owl mold. I poured this with the ceramic powder and then painted it. Painted the base coat black and then added the products on top. So you can see how beautifully this comes out. Now for this piece, this is one of the gray boards. And all I did was finish that with some of the other products we're going to look at. The backer is a page from the Sir Vagabond and one of the die cuts. Even the gears are from the gray board, so they're not metal. Okay, now for the Glamour Pigment and the Fluid Gloss. When these two are combined, you're going to get a wonderful metallic finish. It's a powder pigment. And then we have the 𝐂𝐬𝐧𝐴. And this comes in all the colors. I finally was able to get these in. And it's a wax-based metallic finish. Okay, so now I've taken a mold and done it with a black base. And just with a scruffy brush, just put a little on the brush, and you can see immediately what a nice effect you get on this mold. And it brings out all the detail. You just brush it till you're happy with it. But right away you can see what a difference that makes. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, next we're going to work with the Glamour Powder Pigment. So I usually just bring a palette over. Pour a little of the fluid gloss. Just take a brush and mix it together, and you can see immediately it has that metallic finish. Now this is just an old wood ornament. It goes on just like paint. Easy to do. And if your pigment dries out, just add a little bit more of the fluid gloss. But you see how nicely this covers. And it dries quickly, which is the nice thing. Okay, now for a little added effect, we're going to use the Glamour Gel. This is a water-based product. It comes in different colors. And you can go right on top of the metallic. And actually, this is what I did with the frame. I used a combination of this just to get that antiqued effect. And there again, just brush it right on. You can put as much or as little as you want. And see how pretty that is? And that's just a plain piece of wood. And you can see what it looked like on a frame. So let's take a look at the colors. This is for the Glamour Pigment. Got sparkling white, gold, silver, ancient pink, turquoise, and burnt umber. And you can mix any of these together to make other colors, and be sure you use it with the fluid gloss to activate it. Okay, so let's take a look at the Glamour Gel. We've got the dark wood, star blue, chestnut light, sparkling white, nature green, and gold dew. Now this Glamour Gel you can use also on paper. This is not limited to other surfaces. And even on the flowers, the foam flowers, you could brush this on and just get a little glimmer. So you might want to try at least one of these to see how you like it. But there's the finish, and it's dry already. In the time that we were talking, it's completely dry, ready to go. And there's with the Serantica. Now, here's two other products for scrapbookers. And I have to tell you, these are the best glues for paper. Especially when you're just gluing a whole surface and laying it down. The 𝐂𝐨 Gel is magnificent. It's clear, it dries clear and dries quickly. But you can brush it on the back side of a whole piece of paper, lay it down, burnish it, and it won't buckle and it won't wrinkle. And it's the same with the craft glue. This is when you're putting together little albums and things like that. Use it to fold your paper over and glue it down, and it dries quickly. You will love this glue. The 𝐂𝐨 Gel also comes in a narrower tip. And that'll do it for today. I hope you've enjoyed seeing everything I presented today. And until we see each other again, you take care.